friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams. I'm so excited today to share with you another Shelf Spotlight. Shelf Spotlights are a series of videos where I talk about a different type of book that's on my shelves. It might be that they all have a same word or words in the title. It might be that they all fit a certain theme or topic or genre or category or whatever. I have done quite a few shelf spotlights. I will link the playlist down below. I was having a hard time trying to come up with a topic for February, and I kind of skipped doing one in January. So I was just thinking through things. I got some great ideas from my patrons, which I will be doing in future shelf spotlights. But because of the drama that has happened over the last 2 weeks with my brother being sick and in the hospital and talking to my family all the time, I thought, you know what? I bet you I have a lot of books that have family words in the title. And I do. I have quite a few books here to share with you that have wife, sister, daughter, husband, brother. I don't think I found any that have brother. Cousin. I have a grandmother. I have all these types of books to share with you today. So I'm going to start as usual with the books that I have already read, and then I'll move into some that I haven't yet read. And you guys can tell me if you have any books that you have on your shelves that have a family word in the titles, and let me know. I would love for you to subscribe if you haven't already for more Shelf Spotlight videos and other fun videos. And if you enjoy this as you're watching, feel free to give it a thumbs up. That always helps my channel so much. So let's just jump right into the books that I've already read. I have one book with the word husband in the title, and that's The Husband's Secret by Liane Moriarty. This is one that I don't remember reading, but it's marked as read on Goodreads. I know that it's about this married couple. The wife finds a note that she's supposed to read after the death of her husband. It reveals some big secret about his life. She finds it while he is very much alive, and of course reads it, because who has the stamina to resist something like that? So she reads this note. It reveals some big secret. I don't remember at all what the secret is, but I know that I love Liane Moriarty and her writing, so I can revisit that one someday. Another favorite author is Fredrik Backman, and this is My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry. I read this after reading A Man Called Ove and Beartown, and this was very different. I've had a very different feel to it, and it took me quite a while to get into it. But once I understood what was going on, I really did enjoy this very much. In this one, we follow this young girl. Her grandmother has tasked her with delivering these apology notes to different people in her life. And it also has this kind of fairy tale that her grandmother had told her all through her life, and turns out has some connections to their real life. So I really enjoy this. I just love Backman. He is one of my faves for sure. Another one that I read recently is My Cousin Rachel by Daphne du Maurier. She's like the queen of writing gothic kind of atmospheric books with main characters, women that you just don't quite understand and know what's really going on. So this one is about Rachel, my cousin Rachel, who marries. There's this set of two cousins. One of them's quite older and one's younger. They're like brothers. One of them is kind of a father figure to the other. The older one gets quite ill, has to move somewhere else for his health. While there, he marries Rachel and then dies shortly thereafter. Rachel comes back home to the family home, and this younger cousin is not quite sure what to make of her, and neither was I. So that was a really good one about cousins. I love my cousins. Oh, one of my favorites from last year was The Dream Daughter by Diane Chamberlain. And this is very much a mother-daughter story and the sacrifices that a mother will go through for her daughter. Oh, so good. It involves a little bit of time travel too. Well, not a little bit, quite a bit of time travel, if that's something that you like. Oh, and even if you don't, I think it's done really well. Oh, a classic that I could not ignore with this prompt or with this topic of family names is Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell. This edition is quite chunky, but it's not really as big, and it reads very easily. In this one, we follow mainly Molly Gibson and her relationship with her father. Her mother has passed away before this story. The dad gets remarried, and so into the home comes this new stepmother and her daughter, and it's the relationship between all of these women mainly. And of course, there is men in that area that get involved in the story as well. That's such a shortened, like abbreviated version of what this is about, but it's so good. And I love Molly Gibson. Oh, she's a sweetheart. I just wanted her to stand up for herself a little more often though. Another one that I read is a World War II historical fiction called The Wartime Sisters by Linda Cohen Loigman. And this one is about two sisters who never really got along growing up. There was a lot of jealousy and misunderstanding and just judgment about each other's lives and what what they perceive the other person's life to be about. And this is kind of like the revelation of those things coming out. So Ruth and Millie have never been close. Ruth marries a scientist and they take a position at the Springfield Armory, and Ruth ends up moving to Massachusetts to get a fresh start because of some situations in her past. So it takes place during World War II, but it's really not centered around the war. It's really centered around these two sisters and this armory that's in Springfield. And yeah, it was pretty good. I enjoyed that one. And the final duo that I have read that I saw on my shelves is this duology by Francine Rivers, which includes Her Mother's Hope and Her Daughter's Dream. In Her Mother's Hope, we follow Marta, who moves to the States from Switzerland. And Marta and her daughter, Hildemara, don't get along really well. A lot of misunderstandings between the two of them. Marta is a pretty forceful, strong woman and wants to give her family a better life, but she's a little bit hard. Her tough love is really misunderstood by her daughter. So this one really follows Marta and her daughter, Hildemara. And then in the next one, Her Daughter's Dream, we follow Hildemara and her daughter, Carolyn. Well, Hildemara gets ill, sick with tuberculosis, and Marta from this book, Grandma Marta, moves in to help the family. So there's still tension between the grandmother now and the mother, and the daughter thinks that she is a big part of that. So it's just this family saga about these three women, 3 generations. And I remember really loving it. Francine Rivers was for a long time one of my favorite authors, and I definitely enjoyed that one. Now moving on to some books that I have not yet read. I've sorted them by the word, the family word in the titles. I only have one that has mothers, and that's The Mothers by Brit Bennett. And I believe this is about a group of church ladies and a young girl who gets pregnant out of wedlock. And I've heard such high praise for Brit Bennett, and I cannot wait to read her book, this one or The Vanishing Half. I still need to read that one, which is also very family focused as well. But yeah, that's The Mothers. Let's do the wife books next. I have 5 of them here. So I have The 19th Wife by David Ebershoff, and I believe this is about a Mormon family and a young girl who becomes the 19th wife. I really don't know more than that, but I am always intrigued by different religions and books that teach me different things about different religions. This is a Pride and Prejudice retelling, The Clergyman's Wife by Molly Greeley. And in this one, we follow Charlotte, who marries Mr. Collins in Pride and Prejudice. I just think that is such a fun way to retell a Pride and Prejudice. I don't know if it's a retelling of Pride and Prejudice or just kind of a continuation focusing on Charlotte and her new life as Mrs. Collins. I don't know. Want to read that one. This is on my recommendations cart for the year as well. Quite a few of these are. I have The Ringmaster's Wife by Christy Cameron. Christy Cameron is another author that I used to read a ton of, and I haven't in a long time. This one takes place in a circus, and I'm assuming about the wife of the ringmaster. Turn of the century America. A young girl dreams of a world that stretches beyond the confines of her quiet life on the family farm. I'm very interested in reading some more from Christy Cameron. I have another historical fiction, Kristen Harmel. I have a couple of Kristen Harmel's books on my shelves. I'm not sure if I've read. Oh, the one that I most probably want to read is The Room on Rue Amelie. This is The Winemaker's Wife. I think Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library talked about this one. It's set in World War II and also present day. So Champagne, France in 1940, at the very beginning of the Second World War in France, and then also in New York in 2019. And the French grandmother shows up on Liv Kent's doorstep. So I'm assuming the French grandmother is the one that the story in the World War II era story is about. I don't know, but I love a World War II and I love a dual timeline. So that sounds always right up my alley. And then another World War II is The Dutch Wife by Ellen Keith. I think I've heard mixed things about this one, about a young woman who is actually in one of the concentration camps. That's The Dutch Wife. I have a couple books here that have sister in the title, just 4. Another Diane Chamberlain, The Silent Sister. What If Everything You Believed Was a Lie? I don't know anything about that one. It's just one of the books that I've been collecting because I want to read more Diane Chamberlain. Same with this one, Kristen Hanna's Between Sisters. I don't know much about this one either. Megan made a terrible choice that cost her everything, including the love of her sister Claire. So something happened in their past, and I'm sure that they come back together and figure it all out. Hopefully. I'm sure it'll make me cry because Kristen Hanna can do that. One that will probably not make me cry is The Night Sister by Jennifer McMahon. I've heard quite a few people say they really like her writing, her thriller writing. She is good at atmosphere and bringing the creep factor. So I think this is about two sisters and a friend who see something when they're children that affects them even into their adult days. So I don't know if there's something kind of like paranormal, like ghost situation going on, or if they just see a crime happening. I'm not really sure what they see, but it affects them into their adulthood. So I'll have to save that for a time when I can handle the creepiness. And then, of course, I have the Star-Crossed Sisters of Tuscany, which is a book of the month that I recently picked up by Lori Nelson Spielman. This is about sisters, a family who has a curse put on them. I forget who or why the curse is put on them, but the second born child of each family is not going to find love or something along those lines. And so this is about sisters who travel to Tuscany in Italy. And I'm sure the second born is going to find love, right? Possibly. But it sounds like a family drama mixed with a bit of romance, possibly. And that like curse situation. The final 4 books all have the word daughter in the title. All of these are like female, except for The Husband's Secret. I don't have any books with brother, or other than husband, or grandpa, or, I said that funny, grandpa, or uncle. That's weird. Well, I don't have any aunt ones either. I shouldn't say that. But anyways, these 4 are daughter. The Locksmith's Daughter by Karen Brooks. Queen Elizabeth's England, No One's Secrets Are Truly Safe. It's a beautiful cover. Mallory Bright is the only daughter of London's most ingenious locksmith and has apprenticed with her father since childhood. But then her reputation gets damaged somehow, and she's got to recover from that. The unforgettable story of Queen Elizabeth's ruthless spy master and his daring protege. I love a book with some female spies. America's First Daughter is American history, historical fiction. This is by Stephanie Dray and Laura Kamoe, and I believe this is about one of Thomas Jefferson's daughters. And so we kind of get his life story from the daughter's perspective. Really looking forward to reading that one. Hazel Gaynor is an author that I have loved in the past, and this is The Lighthouse Keeper's Daughter. This one has dual timelines, 1838 in England and then 1938 Newport, Rhode Island. So dual timelines involving a lighthouse and inspired by true events. A historical novel that explores how our past shapes our present and what it truly means to be courageous. That sounds lovely. I need to read some more Hazel Gaynor. Another author that I have read in the past that really enjoyed is The Forgotten Daughter by Joanna Goodman. The Home for Unwanted Girls is the book that I read, and it was so sad. It says it's a follow-up to The Home for Unwanted Girls, but I don't think it's a sequel per se. But in this one, we have the moving and triumphant story inspired by true events of 2 women divided by their past but united in love. Takes place in 1992, but we also get glimpses of a story from the 1970s. So yeah, I'm really excited to read more from Joanna Goodman. And I love this color. It's a beautiful color. Anyways, so that is all I have to share with you on my shelves. I don't think I have any other ones that have family names in the title. I might have a couple other Christian fiction ones. I think I looked all over my middle grade shelf and I didn't really find any. I would love to know if you can think of other books that are on your shelves or that you've read that have a family name in the title. I just thought this was a fun way to highlight some different books from my shelves that I might not have talked about recently or ever, or since I hauled them. So yeah, I would love to chat in the comments below about these books. Have you read any of these? Should I absolutely move some of them to the top of my TBR after middle grade March? I would love to chat with you in the comments below about these books or about anything else that you want to talk about. You guys know I love talking with you down there. Be sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will definitely be talking with you in another video very soon. Bye.